welcome to another video. So today I will be sharing my experience with the Bose NC700 active noise cancelling headphones. I have been a Sony user. I've been using the Sony WH-1000X-M3s for around 2 years now, thereabout. So I wanted a pair of headphones which I can use both in the studio and also outside on the go. And I really love the design of the Bose NC700, so I decided to give them a try and use them for the past 3 weeks, thereabout, almost 3 weeks. First of all, I really love the way these headphones look. That's one of the things that really caught my attention about the NC700. These look more gorgeous than the Sonys. The Sonys have this bland industrial look to it, while the Bose NC700s have this nice beautiful finish and design, and you have these headbands that run across the ear cups. I really like how they look. I've always known Bose to have soft and plush ear cups, which is quite true, but from my testing I couldn't really enjoy them. Yes, you heard me right. Why? Because the headbands are made of metal and they have a sort of hard clamping force, which is much more noticeable than what you get on the Sony WH-1000X-M3s. So these have a harder clamping force. So I noticed it, and that kind of hampered the whole, comfort experience for me. The touch controls on the NC700 are much more responsive when compared to the Sony WH-1000X-M3s. The touch controls on the Sony is more of a hit or miss, while on the Bose NC700, immediately you just swipe or tap on it, it responds very well, which I really like. I like to listen to music at night, so I lie by the side with the headphones on, and I really like the way these really feel. They don't really push very hard against the pillow, while the Sonys push really hard. As most of you know, the Sony ear cups are quite bulky, so they bulge out a lot when compared to the NC700. So I really like the way these don't really protrude out too much. So when you're lying on the bed and you lie on your side like I do and listen to music, these are really comfortable when compared to the Sonys. Now coming to the sound quality, this is where things get a little bit interesting. Upon wearing these and using them for a couple of hours a day, I wore them like 3 hours in a day, I noticed that these on their standard default EQ settings have a flat and neutral sound signature, because for the Sonys, even at its neutral EQ settings, you still get more bass when compared to the NC700. So this would have been ideal for video editing for me, which brings me to the reason why I can't really use these headphones. The mids are lacking. Yes, you heard me right. The NC700s don't have good mids as I expected. The vocals on these are kind of recessed a little bit. They sound just a little bit wide and apart, while on the Sonys the vocals are centered and you hear them much clearer than the Bose. The Bose has a wider sound signature. You get wider sound stage, slightly wider sound stage on the Bose NC700 when compared to the Sonys. So that kind of hampers the user experience for me. That's what I noticed. So I don't really like that. So I cannot really use these for video editing. Obviously these headphones are not really meant for video editing, but you could use them. Another thing I don't really like is you've got this mini is it 2.5mm headphone jack instead of the standard 3.5mm headphone jack on these headphones, which is a little bit of a disappointment if you ask me. Don't know why Bose did not go with a 3.5mm jack. So if you misplace your cables, you'll find it difficult. You have to buy another, except you have many of these type of cables lying around in the house. Bass reproduction on the NC700 are pretty good. You get very nice punchy bass. Obviously it's nowhere as punchy as that on the Sonys. These are quite like the resonating kind of bass. Doesn't really hit you in the face like the Sonys. So that's one thing to take note of, just that the mids are lacking. You might be asking, what about the EQ settings on the app? Yes, I have tried the EQ settings on the Bose Music app. I try to crank up the mids all the way to the maximum, and then the treble as well all the way to the maximum, and then that was when I was able to get almost similar sound signature on the Sonys at their default settings. Yes, you heard me right. So which is quite interesting. Although at the default sound settings on the Sonys, there is still a little bit more bass than that on the Bose NC700. Another thing that was a deal breaker for me is the app itself. Lots of connectivity issues on the Bose Music app. Sometimes it just won't connect with the NC700s, and then when it connects and then I close the app and then open it after a few minutes or hours later, it just won't want to connect back to the NC700, which is quite a bummer. Yep, that really annoyed me and spoiled the whole user experience for me. While for the Sonys, once you open up the app, it connects instantly, but for the Bose, it just won't work. Sometimes it connects and then sometimes it disconnects, and then once it connects and you close the app and you try to open it back again, the headphones find it very difficult to connect back to the app. Call quality, obviously, these are top notch. These are one of the best, if not the best, when it comes to call quality. I really like the way the Bose NC700 picks up your voice, and it projects the true tone of your voice and silences all the noise in the background, so you get this very clear and crisp sound signature when making calls from the microphones on the Bose NC700. While on the Sonys, it sounds kind of a little bit muffled and as if you are underwater. Now coming to another thing I don't like about the Bose NC700s, and that would be the battery life. Battery drain on these headphones is just way too much for my liking. Bose claims you get 20 hours. After charging these up fully, I barely get 19 hours. Yes, you heard me right. I was able to get around between 16 to 17 hours. That's listening at around 30 to 50% volume thereabout. The overall user experience on the Sonys are much more pleasing to me, at least to me. Just that I really wanted to love these headphones, to be honest. I really like how they look. The design, they look really gorgeous. But well, the user experience is just so for me. Which brings me back to the question why I bought a second pair. As you can see here, I have a second pair here with me. I bought a second pair because I thought the first pair maybe had issues, because I wasn't sure the first pair was okay, was alright. So I had to get a second pair to try it out and make sure and to clear all my doubts. So after getting the second pair, everything was the same, just exactly as I said. Nothing changed at all. Yeah, so well, that's my whole take on the Bose NC700 after using them for around almost 3 weeks. As always, I'll be throwing links down in the description section for you all to purchase any of these headphones if you want. Feel free to check out other reviews and comparisons on this channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Adios.